Kevin was a 32-year-old man who had been single for 3 years. He had decided it was time to re-enter the dating world after a painful breakup with his long-term girlfriend. Although he admired her in many ways, Kevin felt lost and unsure after they ended their relationship. Now, he was inspired to try dating again, motivated by a deep desire to find companionship and love. A voice inside him whispered that he still had a lot to give and receive in a relationship. Yet, as he thought about stepping into the dating scene, a swirl of fears and doubts filled his mind. He recalled the last time they were together, feeling sad whenever he remembered the arguments and misunderstandings that had strained their bond. These past experiences shaped his views on love. Kevin worried that he might face rejection again or encounter someone who would not appreciate him fully. The modern world of dating seemed complicated and overwhelming. He often listened to his friends talking about their dating adventures on apps like Tinder and Bumble. Some praised their easiness, while others dubbed the experience stressful and dehumanizing. Despite his concerns, Kevin chose to be open-minded. He downloaded a dating app, intrigued by the possibility of meeting someone new. He felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as he swiped through profiles. Kevin made sure to present his true self in his profile picture and bio. He wanted to avoid any misleading impressions like those he had seen in his past encounters. At the same time, he was mindful of societal pressures and norms around dating, especially the idea that he should quickly find someone to settle down with. Instead, he wanted to take his time and enjoy the experience. By being authentic and patient, Kevin hoped to challenge the stereotypes that filled the dating world. With each swipe, he reminded himself that this was a journey toward finding someone who would see him not just as a candidate for a relationship but as an individual with hopes and dreams. He kept a positive outlook as he crafted thoughtful messages to potential matches. Although he desired emotional connections, he recognized that the process could be gradual. In doing so, Kevin sent a powerful message to himself. He would approach dating with intent, and he would allow himself to learn through the experiences he had yet to encounter. As the weeks went by, Kevin found himself caught in a whirlwind of dates and messages. He had matched with several people on the dating app. At first, it felt exciting. He felt a rush of hope with each new message and every date planned. Yet slowly, the thrill began to fade. Kevin started to feel a heavy weight on his shoulders, known as dating fatigue. Meeting new people was tiring. It felt like a cycle that never changed, just full of anticipation that often led nowhere. With each date, Kevin hoped to find a genuine connection. He poured his energy into preparing for these meetings, thinking carefully about what to wear, deciding what to say, and even practicing his smile in the mirror. During the dates, he tried to be open and authentic, sharing stories about his life and interests. He believed in being true to himself, hoping that this honesty would spark something special. However, many times the connection he sought simply wasn't there. Many of his matches would show up, yet conversations felt flat. He encountered awkward silences and misunderstandings that left him feeling disconnected and unsure. After dates, Kevin often replayed the moments in his mind, questioning himself. Was it something he said? Did he come across too eager or too distant? Each time a date ended without a spark, a cloud of doubt filled his mind. He began to wonder if he was making a mistake by trying to date again. As days turned into weeks, Kevin felt like he was stuck in a cycle of endless swiping and waiting. He wanted to find the right person, but all he felt was confusion. Mixed signals from his matches added to his frustration. Some people would express interest and then disappear without explanation. Others seemed enthusiastic but vanished after a few conversations. Each little heartbreak chipped away at Kevin's self-esteem. Was dating really meant to be this hard? Are these experiences a sign that he was doing something wrong? He spent nights staring at his phone, scrolling through profiles again and again, hoping to feel that spark of excitement he had initially felt. Yet, all he saw were endless faces, often reminding him of what he didn't have. Moments of loneliness crept back in. Kevin examined his mind, trying to pinpoint the cause of his growing discontent. Was he choosing the wrong matches? Was he moving too fast? Or was modern dating simply too superficial? With these questions swirling, self-doubt tightened its grip on his heart. He worried that he might never find someone who truly connected with him. Would he always be the one to send funny messages and get awkward replies? Dates that could have been a joyful adventure often ended up feeling like empty exercises, and he started to feel like he was running in circles without getting anywhere. Instead of excitement, Kevin now faced anxiety in the dating world. He remembered some words from a caring friend: relationships should not feel like a job. Recently, this did not resonate with Kevin. He felt out of place in a world that seemed ruled by quick matches and fast replies. Dating was supposed to be about meeting the right person and sharing feelings, but it was turning into a task rather than a path toward love. Lost in these thoughts, he decided to take a step back. Maybe he didn't need to chase every match so eagerly. Perhaps in slowing down, he would rediscover the joy of simply meeting new people. Kevin hoped that giving himself a break from the pressure of dating would help him find clarity. Though deep down he still believed that love was out there, right now, he just needed to breathe. Just when Kevin thought about taking a break from dating, he matched with someone named Lisa. Her profile picture made him smile, and her bio seemed to reflect genuine warmth. After a few chats, they decided to meet for coffee at a cozy cafe in the city. As they settled into a corner table, Kevin felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Lisa was charming and had a great sense of humor. They laughed easily and found themselves sharing stories about their lives. Kevin felt as though they understood each other in a way that had been missing from his previous dates. For a moment, it felt perfect. They talked about travel, favorite books, and their dreams for the future. Kevin could not help but think that this was what he had been searching for all along, a real connection where both partners genuinely enjoyed each other's company. For the first time in a long while, Kevin felt a sense of excitement about where this could lead. After that delightful coffee date, they continued to meet regularly, sharing more laughs and conversations that rolled into late nights. Kevin dared to believe that he had found someone truly special. However, as they spent more time together, Kevin began to notice small things that raised questions in his mind. Despite their shared laughter, they had different ideas about love and reaching long-term commitments. While Kevin found himself dreaming about the possibility of building a future together, Lisa often said she was not ready to settle down. She loved living in the moment and exploring new experiences but had no desire to define their relationship. Kevin felt a knot tighten in his stomach whenever she expressed those thoughts, his hopes clashing with her viewpoint. The conversations that had once flowed so easily became heavier. Kevin wanted to talk about feelings, while Lisa seemed to shy away from deep discussions about their future. He started reflecting on what he truly wanted in a relationship. Would it be enough to enjoy the present without worrying about what came next? Kevin found himself torn between the joy of their time together and the uncertainty of their paths. He had thought things were moving in a promising direction, but now, he felt lost again. As his thoughts swirled, Kevin sought advice from his closest friends, who spoke about the importance of knowing one's needs. His friends encouraged him to have open and honest conversations with Lisa, no matter how difficult they might be. So, on an evening they shared a quiet dinner, Kevin took a deep breath and decided it was time to approach the topic. With careful words, he expressed his feelings, hoping to clarify what they both wanted from each other. Lisa listened closely and, though she appreciated his openness, she seemed unsure. She shared her view about the joys of freedom, talking about how being young was about exploration, without the confines of labels. As Kevin listened, he struggled with the widening gap between their dreams. This moment of vulnerability took a toll on him, as he realized that they may want different things. Though both had wonderful moments together, a flicker of confusion remained for Kevin. Was waiting for Lisa to change her mind about commitment worth it? Was it possible to love someone who did not share the same vision? Each of these questions left Kevin questioning his needs and dreams, contemplating whether they fit together or if they were just two ships passing in the night. Challenging as it was, this realization pushed Kevin to think deeper about love and companionship. He understood that acknowledging differences wasn't a failure. It opened a door for self-discovery, allowing him to clarify what he sought in love. The experience became a small win for him, even amidst the struggle, growing his awareness of the kind of relationship he truly wanted. Kevin knew that navigating these feelings wouldn't be easy, but it felt like he was taking steps toward a clearer understanding of himself. Days passed, and as Kevin navigated his feelings about Lisa, a wave of conflict began to rise within him. The sweet moments they shared seemed to be overshadowed by growing tension. Kevin cherished their time together, yet every time Lisa expressed her reluctance to commit, his heart sank a little more. The uncertainty wrapped around him like a heavy cloak, and he started questioning everything, about her and about himself. One Saturday afternoon, they went for a walk in the park. The sun shone brightly, but Kevin felt the weight of the shadows in his heart. As they strolled down the path, Kevin tried to push down the unease creeping into his mind. Lisa chatted about a recent trip she had taken, and although he listened, he could not shake off the nagging reality: they were heading in very different directions. Suddenly, with the sounds of laughter from children playing nearby, Kevin grasped the moment. It was now or never. It was time to confront the truths that had been eating away at him. He paused and turned toward Lisa, choosing his words carefully. He opened his heart and spoke about his dreams for the future. Interrupting their carefree day turned out to be the hardest thing he had to do. He told her how much he valued their relationship but how he was feeling torn. "Lisa, I really enjoy being with you," he began, his voice shaky but firm. "But I want a commitment, and I fear that this uncertainty is driving a wedge between us." At that moment, the weight of those words hung in the air, palpable and heavy. He felt a mixture of fear and courage to share such raw honesty. Lisa's expression changed. She seemed startled but not surprised. After a moment of silence, she spoke softly. "Kevin, I really like you too. I appreciate everything about us, but I've been clear about not wanting to tie myself down right now. I want to keep exploring and living freely." Hearing those words hit him like a wave crashing against a rock. They echoed around him, forcing him to reflect deeply on their differing perspectives. Kevin's heart ached with the realization that he had been compromising so much. He had let the hope of what they could be overshadow how their differences could cause genuine pain. He believed in the values of commitment, mutual respect, and love that grows stronger through partnership. Standing there, inches away from Lisa, he began to understand what he needed: the importance of setting personal boundaries even when faced with affection. The moment expanded in his mind. He realized that love couldn't exist in a vacuum of only one person's desires. Every relationship needed balance, a dance between two hearts. The realization empowered Kevin. He could not keep shrinking his needs to fit into someone else's. He had to honor himself first. This awakening felt both exhilarating and terrifying. What did it mean to walk away from someone he deeply liked? While the fear of losing her sparked anxiety, Kevin also sensed a weight lifting off him. The struggle going on inside him was not just about Lisa, it was about who he was becoming. By standing firm in what he truly needed, he took a giant step toward self-respect. As they continued to walk, he felt an unfamiliar strength surging within him. Even though the talk simmered with tension, Kevin recognized that clarifying his values could lead to growth, whether he stayed with Lisa or not. He understood that it was vital to embrace both hope and honesty in love. Now, it was up to him to decide what he could accept without sacrificing his true self. The next day, Kevin could hardly think of anything else. His heart raced at the thought of confronting Lisa about their differences. Every moment he imagined having the conversation, he felt a mixture of fear and determination. Maybe this was what they both needed, a moment where both could lay their cards on the table without holding back. With this thought in mind, Kevin decided to invite her over to his apartment that evening. As time slipped away, Kevin prepared himself mentally. He tidied up his living space, but more importantly, he crafted a list of the feelings he wanted to express. He wanted his words to be clear, but he also wanted to remain true to himself. When Lisa arrived, she entered with her usual warmth, but he could sense an undercurrent of uncertainty in the air. They exchanged big smiles before settling into the soft couch together, thoughts racing in their minds. At first, they made small talk, discussing their day-to-day lives, but Kevin knew he couldn't delay the important conversation any longer. Taking a deep breath, he steeled himself, hoping to project calmness even as his heart pounded. "Lisa," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "there's something important we need to talk about." Her brows furrowed slightly, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. "Okay, what is it?" she asked, her tone suddenly serious. Kevin continued, "I care about you, and I enjoy the time we spend together, but I need to talk about where we're headed. I feel like we have very different ideas about relationships." Lisa looked taken aback but maintained her composure. "How do you mean?" she asked quietly. Kevin took a moment to collect his thoughts before replying. "When we started dating, I felt a spark, and lately, I've realized that I am looking for something deeper, something that leads to a real commitment. But it feels like we're not on the same page." As he spoke, he took note of Lisa's expression. A frown creased her forehead as she processed his words. "I understand that you want more," she replied thoughtfully, "but I just can't see myself settling down right now. I love our time together, but I also love my freedom." This revelation struck Kevin like a thunderclap. A part of him was relieved that she was honest, but another part of him felt pain knowing they were miles apart in their goals. "I appreciate you sharing your feelings, but it hurts to know that what I want is not what you want," he said, feeling vulnerable yet empowered. "Am I wrong for wanting a relationship that leads to something long-term?" The atmosphere in the room shifted, the tension hanging thickly like mist. Lisa looked down, wrestling with her thoughts. "No, you're not wrong. We are just in two different places in our lives." Their exchange sparked both conflict and connection. They both struggled to open up, but Kevin realized that this honesty was the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. The risk of revealing his needs was high, but the reward lay in understanding themselves better, however painful that understanding felt. As the conversation continued, Kevin discovered he was ready to embrace the risk of being vulnerable. Talking openly about their differences brought more clarity than silence ever could. Kevin could see uncertainty in Lisa's eyes as she grasped what lay ahead. "Maybe we should think if this is what we both want," she said quietly. In that moment, Kevin had a revelation. Vulnerability might feel heavy, but it was also a pathway to deeper connection, even if it meant finding a way apart. Whether this conversation led to a resolution or not, Kevin understood that it was essential to nurture their individual truths. By daring to speak freely about their needs and desires, he took an important step toward self-discovery, knowing that ultimately his happiness depended on being true to himself. In the days following their intense conversation, Kevin felt an emotional heaviness settle into his chest. The discussion he had with Lisa echoed in his mind, fusing uncertainty with moments of clarity. He spent long hours considering how they had reached this point. The spark he initially felt was still there, but it was accompanied by the bitter realization that their relationship lacked the foundation he sought. Although they shared wonderful moments together, the thought of settling for less than he deserved made his heart ache. After a week filled with reflection, Kevin understood that the decision he faced was more significant than simply choosing between Lisa and solitude. It was a choice about his own happiness and well-being. As he walked through the streets of his city, the life around him buzzed with energy, but inside him, the storm still raged. He yearned for honesty, fulfillment, and the kind of love that would amplify his spirit, not diminish it. One afternoon, Kevin found himself sitting at his favorite cafe. Sipping coffee, he watched as couples bustled by, wrapped up in laughter and connection. A wave of longing washed over him, juxtaposed with the current reality of his relationship. In the whispers of their laughter, he noticed something important: relationships should nurture rather than drain. This moment sparked a significant realization about him. He valued companionship, but it had to be coupled with mutual growth and understanding. Lisa looked at him, her eyes filled with concern. "Me too," she replied softly. Without any delay, Kevin poured out his feelings, saying, "I realize that despite how much I care for you, our visions for the future don't align. I want a partnership rooted in commitment and shared goals, and I don't think we can provide that for each other." Lisa's face fell, understanding dawned across her features as she nodded slowly. "I knew this conversation would come. I value what we have, but those same thoughts burden me." The acknowledgement of both perspectives brightened the room with bittersweet acceptance. Kevin felt vulnerable as he spoke his truth, understanding that this breaking point didn't mark failure but rather a step toward greater self-awareness. "This is hard," he continued, "but I think it's important for both of us to find the happiness we seek, even if it means moving separately." As the words escaped his lips, he realized how liberating it felt to stand firm in his needs. What was at stake was not just their relationship but Kevin's sense of identity and self-worth. Walking away would mean taking risks, diving into the unknown, and allowing space for healthier experiences in his love life. With it also came the potential to meet someone whose values aligned with his own. As they continued to talk, the atmosphere shifted from regret to understanding. They shared warm memories of the good times they had, laughing through tears as they recalled funny moments. With heavy hearts but lighter spirits, they agreed to part ways, each feeling that their decision, though difficult, served their growth. Kevin left the encounter transformed. This was not just an ending, it was a turning point. He now felt ready to dive back into dating with renewed confidence. His heart was open to new experiences, and he understood that pursuing deep connections could mean facing fears and discomfort. By prioritizing his well-being and embracing his values, Kevin equipped himself for healthier, more fulfilling relationships ahead. With each step forward, he recognized the importance of staying true to his dreams, setting boundaries, and ultimately opening himself up to authentic love. After their breakup, Kevin felt a mix of emotions wash over him. In the days that followed, he absorbed the significance of the decision he had made. Sitting alone in his apartment, he dedicated time to reflect on his dating journey and the lessons he learned along the way. He knew this was an important moment, a chance to understand himself better than ever before. As he thought back over the past few months, Kevin recognized that his experience with Lisa had been invaluable. He learned much about himself, realizing that he deserved a love that aligned with his deepest values. The journey was not easy, it came with heartache and confusion. Yet, in every awkward date, every moment of self-doubt, and every laugh shared with friends, he had been discovering the essence of love. One major realization stood out: love should uplift, nourish, and enhance his life, not make him feel anxious or incomplete. Kevin thought about the countless conversations he had with Lisa. At first, those moments brought him joy, but he now understood that when they couldn't agree on basic values, the happiness faded into frustration. This was a crucial lesson. He learned that sharing long-term goals was as essential as sharing laughter. In many ways, the breakup acted like a mirror reflecting his priorities. Allowing himself to be vulnerable and open about his feelings had been a gift. Previously, he might have tried to fit himself into someone else's idea of a relationship, sacrificing his happiness in the process. Now, he felt empowered by his choice to stay true to himself. He began to appreciate the strength that comes from knowing one's worth. Although it was easy to feel disheartened about dating, he reminded himself that every experience contributed to personal growth. Dating was not just about finding love, it was also about learning patience, kindness, and communication skills that would carry forward into any future relationship. This renewed perspective helped him embrace the uncertainty and see it as part of the journey, rather than something to dread. Kevin committed to journaling his thoughts during this reflective phase. Writing down what he learned helped him process the complex feelings swirling in his heart. He poured out his hopes and worries, creating pages filled with dreams of a more meaningful love story. In those written thoughts, he acknowledged the struggles he faced and framed them as stepping stones leading him towards deep and fulfilling connections. The sense of confusion that once overwhelmed him started to dissipate. Instead of feeling lost, he began to recognize that the dating world could be a beautiful, even exhilarating adventure. With each day, he felt a stronger desire to re-enter that world, this time armed with clarity. He understood that it was not a race, but a journey worthy of patience and exploration. When he thought about the future, his heart beat with anticipation rather than fear. With every valuable lesson he absorbed from his past, Kevin could shape his future dating experiences. He desired to approach new relationships, not with anxiety but with openness and confidence. The knowledge he gained inspired him to engage in honest conversations right from the start, laying a foundation built on mutual understanding and respect. Accepting both joy and heartache as parts of love, he realized the journey was not about avoiding pain but embracing it. He had grown through the struggles and challenges. Now, he was ready to chase the connections that made his heart sing. With renewed strength and perspective, Kevin felt eager to continue his search for love, believing that the best was still to come. After the dust settled from his relationship with Lisa, Kevin knew he needed time for himself. He recognized that moving forward required more than just closing that chapter. It meant diving deep into his feelings, rebuilding his confidence, and reclaiming his sense of self. In the past, dating had sometimes made him feel incomplete, but now he wanted to ensure he stood strong in his own shoes. Kevin decided to take a break from dating for a while. This time would be for him to reflect, recharge, and delve into activities that brought him joy. He found peace in his daily routine, from cooking new recipes to spending quiet evenings with good books. Rediscovering old hobbies such as painting and hiking brought him a sense of comfort and familiarity, reminding him of the things he loved before he focused too much on relationships. Creating art allowed him to express unresolved feelings. Each brush stroke became a release of his emotions, a way for him to process everything that had happened. In this safe space, he could find clarity amidst the chaos. Although he had experienced heartache, painting provided him solace and let him realize the importance of self-expression. He also took time to connect with his friends deeply. Kevin reached out, blending fun with meaningful conversations. They hiked through beautiful trails, spent evenings laughing over dinner, and explored new places around town. In each interaction, he felt the warmth of genuine friendship remind him that he was valued beyond the aspects tied to dating. Through these shared moments, he sensed a renewed sense of belonging. As days turned into weeks, he started to feel a shift within himself. Slowly but surely, stability replaced the chaos. His confidence began to blossom. Kevin realized that self-worth wasn't measured by relationship status, it came from recognizing and embracing his strengths and flaws alike. He started to see himself as a complete individual, able to create happiness from within, rather than relying entirely on external validation. One day, while chatting with a friend over lunch, Kevin shared his feelings about taking a break from dating. His friend nodded in understanding. "It sounds like the perfect decision," she said. "Sometimes, the best thing we can do is focus on ourselves first. It allows us to enter the dating world with fresh eyes." This resonated with Kevin. He understood he was in the process of building a stronger foundation. Yet, as he healed, Kevin also could not deny the spark of curiosity about new relationships returning. However, he resolved to approach dating with a newfound clarity. When he did feel ready, he pictured entering a new phase enriched by the lessons he had learned from his experiences. Rather than approaching love with uncertainty or fear, he wanted to set clear intentions guided by his newly established values. Through this reflective period, Kevin envisioned the future he wanted. He drafted a list of key qualities he sought in a partner, highlighting respect, open communication, and shared goals as non-negotiables. This exercise grounded him further, as each value down on paper represented the essence of who he had discovered himself to be. Eventually, Kevin decided to begin his journey again, not just as someone looking for love but as a person eager to meet new experiences with an open heart and a clear mind. Instead of rushing into things, he was now equipped with better tools for navigating the dating world: patience, honesty, and an unwavering sense of self. With this light in his spirit, Kevin knew that when he opened himself up to new possibilities, he would do so with intention. His journey of understanding and self-discovery would guide him as he ventured into relationships that matched his needs, fostering meaningful connections built on solid ground. Embracing the lessons learned, he felt more ready than ever to embrace this new chapter of his life. With each passing day, Kevin felt the transformation settling into his life. After taking the time to reflect on his experiences, he emerged stronger and more self-aware. The lessons he learned from his time with Lisa weighed heavily but in a good way, guiding him as he prepared to step back into the dating world. His heart felt lighter, as if shedding the burden of unfulfilled expectations had freed him. When Kevin decided to re-enter dating, he did so with renewed purpose. He approached the process with clarity, armed with the knowledge that love was not just about finding companionship but about mutual respect and shared visions for the future. He felt ready to embrace each new connection, knowing that this time, he would hold firm to his values. One of the most significant changes in his mindset was the establishment of clear boundaries. He understood that to foster healthy relationships, he needed to communicate openly about his needs and desires from the start. If a date didn't share his goals or values, he would not be afraid to express his feelings and move on. He recognized that this approach was about protecting his heart and ensuring that connections could flourish where there was mutual understanding. As he returned to dating, Kevin felt a fresh sense of excitement. Each encounter became a chance to learn about not only others but also himself. He approached each date as a journey rather than a destination, fully embracing the opportunities they brought. Whether it led to friendship, romance, or falling short, Kevin remained open to whatever path may unfold. He also took notice of the small, everyday joys that dating brought him. When he met someone with similar interests, they could share laughter over favorite books or cooking tips. When a connection didn't spark any chemistry, he found himself shrugging it off rather than being disheartened. Instead, he celebrated the moment spent getting to know another person even if it didn't evolve into a lasting relationship. This shift in perspective fostered a sense of optimism as he thought about future connections. Kevin hoped to uncover depth and authenticity in each new relationship, and with that hope came encouragement from his friends. Their support made him feel equipped to navigate the ups and downs described in the dating realm. With every encounter, his confidence grew. He was becoming skilled at identifying the qualities he could not compromise on: respect, emotional availability, and the desire for a long-term partnership. It now felt easier for him to recognize when a relationship aligned with his desires or if it was a sign to steer clear. Kevin carried the understanding that the journey of dating could be unpredictable, full of surprises and unforeseen twists. Yet now, instead of feeling anxious about the outcome, he felt curious and excited. Each step was part of a larger experience, one that would ultimately guide him toward authentic connections that resonated deeply within him. In conversations with new partners, he didn't shy away from discussing his hopes for the future. Instead, he leaned into this practice with confidence, recognizing that it was not just about compatibility but also about cultivating a solid bond rooted in open communication. As he embraced this hopeful outlook, Kevin's heart danced with the possibilities that lay ahead. This was a fresh chapter, written with awareness and newfound strength. In moving forward, he found comfort in knowing that his self-discovery journey was not an end, but rather a beginning, fueled by a sincere desire for love that was both real and fulfilling. Kevin was ready for whatever awaited him, assured that he would meet it with vulnerability, courage, and an unwavering belief in his worth.